yeah, I realized that what I wanted and what I should want was to be like the most pure in this dating relationship, the most pure in my thoughts. That I should set up boundaries that make it that way and not like lead myself into temptation, right? That um, I should be the best steward of my time that I could be. That I should try to keep myself the most holy that I could be. And once I had that thought, there were so many different questions I had that kind of just like fell into place. All of the people I cared the most about didn't really feel the same about God and Jesus. They didn't feel the same way I did, and I realized that maybe caused a little bit of distance that I felt between me and my kind of closest friends at the time because I had this thing which I realized was quickly becoming the most important thing to me, and then my closest friends just like didn't get the most important thing about me, and then um, also at the same time I realized like, hey, here's this group of people at my church, at this Christian club at my school as well, who do get this really like the most important thing about me, but don't really know anything else, and I think I felt really blessed that over the past 5 semesters that it's kind of gotten better on both ends for me, where my closest friends feel they've gotten closer to how I feel about God than how they did in the past. And then the people who I knew were already strong Christians who understood that most important thing, I've gotten closer with them as well. And they also know just some other bits about me. So it's not quite where I want it to be yet, but it's definitely gotten a lot better. And then that kind of worked its way through a lot of my relationships in a lot of different ways, but one of them was in a dating relationship I had with someone, and just um, that taught me, I'd say, a very important lesson. And this applies to more than just dating, but pretty much like everything I was doing in my life. I realized that there were a lot of things which I wanted, which the Bible would maybe say like not to do. Especially when you're in a relationship with someone, like you want to have like physical closeness with them, but then sometimes it's either permitted but not a very good idea, or it's just straight up something the Bible would call wrong, right? Like sexual morality. And especially when I was in this relationship, I kept thinking, okay, like where's the line of like right and wrong, and then like how close can I get to the line? But then I kind of had this thought of like, if I'm really trying to serve God with my like whole heart and whole soul and whole mind, then why am I even getting close to the line of like what's wrong? Like, why wouldn't I want to stay as far away from it as possible? And I had this thought of, yeah, I realized that what I wanted and what I should want was to be like the most pure in this dating relationship, the most pure in my thoughts, that I should set up boundaries that make it that way and not like lead myself into temptation, right? That I should be the best steward of my time that I could be, that I should try to keep myself the most holy that I could be. And once I had that thought, there were so many different questions I had that kind of just like fell into place. Where I was thinking about, what music is it okay for me to listen to? Instead of thinking of what's okay for me to do, I thought of like, what is the way that I can be the most pure? And I realized it's not listening to what I was listening to. Or like, if I want to be the most pure, then why don't I just listen to, I could just listen to the Bible. There's so many talented Christian artists that I could listen to help me feel closer to God, instead of filling my mind with things that aren't necessarily even bad, but just neutral. And once I realized I had the desire to do what was best, and to do what was best for helping me really serve God, that just kind of worked its way through a lot of different questions I was having, like how should I carry out a dating relationship? What music should I listen to? What media should I watch or consume? And then I still think about that a lot in different areas of my life. Like, am I really putting God first here, or am I thinking about how close can I get to the line? And so that was a big lesson, and that shift in my thinking really helped me a lot.